Hi everyone, I'm Regina Sellers and I'm the creator of Pro Bow the Hand and the 4-in-1. I will be using the 4-in-1 to make this bow, big beautiful Easter bow that's going on the Easter Bunny. I hope you'll join me and I know you'll enjoy it. Thanks. So let's begin. When I'm using the 4-in-1, I have now switched to paddle wire. Before I was using the pre-cut wire. It's only 18 inches long, and I have found that it's just a little short. I end up with just a little short, so I'm using the paddle wire now, and I cut a piece just a tad longer than my board, okay? The next thing is you're going to find the center of your piece of wire. And y'all, I always put my wire in first. And as I go, y'all going to see why. Because I'm going to be using this wire. And just to start, I can kind of stick the little edge under. You can if you want to. You don't have to. But just to kind of start to control it a little bit, I just kind of stick it under. And you can see how incredibly easy that is. So now my wire is just kind of out of my way to start. This is the first ribbon I'm going to be using. I just absolutely fell in love with this ribbon, this paisley. Y'all, I got this from Wreath of Joy. Most of the ribbon that I'm using in this bow, I got from Wreath of Joy because it was just so incredibly beautiful. I mean, just look at that. Incredible. So anyway, here we go. Here we're going to start with our tail, and we're just going to drop our ribbon in, and we're going to pinch and twist. And if y'all can notice, or I don't know how well you can see this, but I'm going to pull my tail down. And y'all, I just didn't just slam my ribbon in here and just let it fall any way it went. I kind of wiggled it. I kind of go back and forth, and I'm making tiny, tiny little pleats. And now whenever I turn it, I want to make sure that I can clearly see both edges of my ribbon. Y'all, this is fluffing. This is fluffing your bow already. This is going to ensure that whenever you open your bow, it's just going to fluff. If you fold over or something as you're pushing that down in there, your ribbon just won't fluff and just open up and make as pretty a loop as if you've just taken just that extra moment. I want a 7-inch loop. Then you see I'm going to drop it in, and you see I'm not just going boop. I'm not doing that and letting it just do anything at once. I'm just going to take a minute there, and I'm just going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and I'm creating a little gather. You always want to make gathers as opposed to pleats, and you'll see that you see how this opened up, and you want that little poof. See that little poof? You want that. That's creating volume already in your bow, okay? So that's how we're going to be making this bow, okay? And I'm going to do it every time. You see how I've opened this? I'm going to go out to 7. I'm going to put my ribbon in, and I'm going to do my little gathers, turn it, because I want this loop over here. I'm going to start fluffing as we go. Okay, and this goes to 7. Okay, little gather. And make sure it twists. Get that twist in there. Okay. There's our pinch and twist. I'm going to put this up here, bring it up to 7, drop it in. Little bitty gathers, just little bitty gathers. Okay, it's just going to help your bow to fluff better. Okay. You can see how that's poofing up. If you do those little gathers as you go, it's just going to poof up here. Let's make our twist. See how it's nice and opened? And even from the bottom, you're going to see how that is going to just create some pretty volume for you in your bow. Little gathers, pinch and twist. Pinch, I'm gathering instead of pinching, actually. And here we go, out to 7. There's my measurement. Pretty little gathers. I'm making sure that I'm getting my volume on my loop. We're done on that side because I want 3 loops. Oops, kind of ran out of ribbon there. Had a splice in my ribbon. Oh, no, I had my 3 loops here already. Oh, okay. Well, good. I had a splice in my ribbon there. And my goodness, that worked out well, didn't it? That's right where I wanted it to be. Okay, now what I'm going to do is every time I change and I go to another ribbon is I tie this off. I just find that my bow comes out prettier. Y'all, I've done it every way possible. Y'all, I'm using 26 gauge wire. You want the smallest gauge wire that you possibly can. I'm just tying this off in the center, and this is just gonna hold my ribbon in place. When I pull this off, I don't want anything to move at all. I don't want any of my little gathers to move. I want my ribbon to stay exactly where I put it. Okay, you can kind of stick this under here again if you would like, kind of help hold it out of your way. Okay, we can go ahead and do that. So there's the beginning of our bow. Isn't that pretty? We're gonna poof as we're gonna fluff, poof it out as we go. Okay, let's pull this out. Look how pretty that is. Big, beautiful loops. There we go. And that's our first ribbon. Now, our second ribbon is this little bunny ribbon. Okay, and I'm going to cut this ribbon up, and I'm going to show you why in just a second. I have another piece. I had several rolls of this, and it was the perfect length, so I'm going to go ahead and use this right now. I'm going to drop this in. It's going to be my tail, my long tail. And you see my bunnies are facing in and facing in, so that's going to work just perfect. I'm just going to drop this in and just let this sit here. There's my tail. There's the tail, just behaving. I want that to really, I'm going to go ahead and just twist this off really quick because you're going to see what I'm going to be doing. I'm just going to cross it once, I believe. I'm just going to push it down, just cross it once. Yes, everything's going to behave. Okay. I bought this ribbon just because I love the little bunnies. I love the little face so much. So I'm going to cut this ribbon because I'm going to place where I want this little bunny to be. Whenever you're looking down at the bow, or whenever you're looking at it on the bunny, I want you to see that little face. I don't want to catch just this. I don't want to catch just an ear if it turned like that. I bought this ribbon because of the bunny. So I want to see his whole little face, and I want him to be right in the turn of my loop. And so I'm going to place that's where I want my loop to be, right there. That's where I want the figure to be, in this loop. And so let's measure it out because I want to come in. My first loop was 7. I'm going to come in about 1/4 of an inch. 1/4 of an inch, somewhere between 1/4 of an inch and 1/2 an inch, okay? Because I really want this little bunny to show. Here is where I'm going to make my pinch and twist. And y'all, I'm going to give myself about 1/2 an inch. You don't want any more than that. Okay, so I'm going to cut this. So I'm going to cut my ribbon. And y'all, look, this is all I lost. In placing this little bunny exactly where I want it to be, that's all I've lost so far. Okay? So now all I have to do, because I'm going to put 2 loops of my bunnies on each side. So I'm just going to take this and sit this on. So there's a bunny ear, there's a bunny ear. bunnies, 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 all lined up. Here's a bunny down here. And let's cut this. And now my second loop. This is my second loop, okay? So let's do a really tight, pretty pinch. Really tight and pretty, okay? See how I'm gonna really tighten that up? And I'm gonna make sure it's all poofed up. I want him to be, I want a lot of volume on this bow. And see how I've achieved that? By just working my ribbon, okay? And whenever this bow is opened, that's what I'm gonna see. I wanna see that little bunny face. That's the reason why I bought this ribbon, because I loved his little face. So I'm gonna place him right where I want him. And so you push that down in there. And let's come back, and this is our second loop. See where our little bunny, well, let's turn it over. Wait, let's see. Here we go. Let's see, what did I do here? Okay, there he is. There, I found him. Took me a minute there. Here's my little bunny, and that's exactly where I want him. And so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do my pinch and my twist. I got kind of lost in my little bunny there for a second. It was like, Bunny, where are you? There he is. Okay, and this is, let's measure it. And that's about 6.5 there. I'm going to trim this off just a tad. Just a tad. We don't need a whole lot in there. And there's my little bunny. Let's stick this in here. And y'all, whenever I fluff this, I'm going to show you that you cannot see. Once this is fluffed, you cannot see all of these cuts. I promise you. I'm going to show you from the side that you cannot see all of these cuts that you make. And now, bunny, bunny. Let's go find some more bunnies. I'm going to put another loop here. Let's see. Well, Regina, go ahead and use this. Let's put it this way, so it's not rolling all over the place. Okay, let's find our little bunny. I want to lose as little, well, it's going to be about the same either way. I want to lose as little ribbon as possible. See my little bunny face? There he is. There's my measurement. There's 7. I'm going just a little bit shorter. See his little face? There he is. Here's my pinch. I'm going to cut this off. And again, y'all, look, that's all I've lost. That is all I've lost, which, y'all, this ribbon is not expensive. It's not expensive, and I bought this ribbon just because I want to see this bunny, and so I just don't think that that is a whole lot to lose to place my little bunny to make sure I see him like I want to once my bow is made, okay? So there he is sitting there. And look, this is really cooperating. My ribbon is sitting just exactly where I want it. And now let's get our second loop over here. Let's find our little bunny where we want to see him. There he is. Okay. Measure out to about there. Bunny right where we want to see him. Here's our pinch and our twist. And y'all, look how it turned out on this side. You see from the underneath, you see where I'm going to cut it? Look, I'm not going to lose anything. I'm not going to lose anything at all. Okay? So you just have to play with your ribbon and just get your little figures to show where you want them to be. Make sure this is really open. We want to get the whole volume. Nice, pretty pinch and pinch. Sit that in there. And now look how this is going to look. Bunny, 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 bunny. And now we're going to take our wire and just tie them off. And just tie this, all of this work that we've done, we're going to just tie our ribbon right into this bow. And y'all, you're going to see whenever I'm done, you're going to see that you can't see this. And I'm just doubling this. I'm double crossing it. Y'all, 26 gauge wire. Never, ever, ever more than that. You do not, it's not needed. And you don't want to just fill up the stack of your bow. This is the stack of the bow that's forming between the dowels right now. That's called the stack of the bow. And you don't want to just fill up your stack with wire. This is just holding this together. Whenever I'm done making the bow, I'm going to add a heavier wire to just finish it off, okay? So there we go with that. Then look at our little bunnies. We can see them just a little bit. Okie doke. Here we go. Let's tell y'all, look at our pretty Easter eggs. This is bringing all of the colors into our, all the colors that we want into our bow. Pretty little gather. And I'm going to do 3 loops. We're going to make these just a tad shorter, just a tad. I want a big, fluffy, full bow. Okay, I'm going to make this at about 6. There we go. At about 6. We do once this is opened, we don't want to cover up our little bunny faces. Okay. You see, I'm fluffing my bow as we go. I'm ensuring that my loops are nice and big and opened. I'm just not slamming that down. I can't say that enough. I'm just not slamming that ribbon down in there and just letting any old thing happen. Okay, I'm making that ribbon do what I want it to do as I go. Pretty little gather. Let's see. Here we go. See what a nice pretty loop that makes? Y'all, see how that just stood up already? That's because how I'm manipulating my ribbon as I go. I'm just not slamming it in there and just letting it do what it wants to do. I'm going to make it do what I want it to do. And it just takes just a moment extra, but you're going to see how big and beautiful this bow. I want this really fluffy on my bunny. There we go at 6. Nice little gathers. There's my turn. Instead of pinch and twist, I guess I should say gather and twist. Okay, gather it up, make a nice twist. Sit this back in here. There you go. There's our 6. There we go. That's about how long we want it. Gather it up. Gather, gather, gather. Make sure that this loop is nice and full and open. Just takes a little extra moment. Okay. Make our loop. There we go. Nice distance there. Gather, gather, gather. I'm going to make this one go here, this one here, and this one about here. We want to be able to make sure we see that little bunny face. Down it goes. Gather and twist. There's our 3 loops on each side. Big and pretty. There you can, now you see how when you're looking past it, look how you can see your pretty little bunny face, okay? And here I'm gonna pull this down. And y'all, I'm kind of fluffing as I go. I'm gonna have this loop here. See your little pretty little bunny face? And now we're gonna pull the tail down. Let's tie this off with our wire. Y'all, just think of this as remember, if you're old as me, not a lot of y'all out there are as old as me, but anyway, in my day, it was the gathered skirt. We wore belted, gathered skirts. And if you can imagine all this gathered material around your waist, And then when you belted it, boy, it just really, if you put a belt on it, and then it just really just poofed out, as you can see this is doing. If you just take that extra moment, make sure you turn your loops with a little gather. Don't just slam them down in there, let them do anything. Look at this, how beautiful this is. And you can see that this is giving this whole bow the volume that we want. And I'm gonna cut my tail. I'm gonna cut it really long. Okay, and there we go. How about that? Doesn't that look beautiful? Let me hold this up at this point, and you will see. Let's open this up. You kind of have to keep fluffing a bit. Okay, but when I get it back on the bunny, you'll see I'm gonna do some more. But I'm gonna turn this, and I want you to look in there, and you can see that you cannot see that I have cut that ribbon. See, you can't see it at all. See, can't see it at all. Okay, can't see it. So I just definitely think it's worth that. Look, just that little bit. You know, this is about all we cut off. But now look where our little bunny face is. There it is. Here he is. And y'all, the reason why I bought this ribbon is because I love the little bunny face so much. So I'm just making sure that I can see him. So that's a little trick for you. And maybe you'll enjoy doing it that way. Okay, our next ribbon is, where's my ribbon? Oh, here it is, right in front of me. Here we go. Let's long tail. And I am going to do 2 loops, just 2 loops of this particular ribbon. And the reason why I chose this one, of course, the greens and the pinks, but this is kind of a darker pink, and it's almost the exact color of the interior, the inside of the little bunny ear. So that's the reason why I like this particular ribbon so much. Okay, let's get it in there, make a pretty loop, make sure it stands up and behaves itself. Drop this in. Y'all, I'm just kind of eyeballing right now the length of my loops here. I think I'm getting these pretty close. Let's see, I can raise both of them and see if they're pretty close. Yeah, look at that. Yeah, you see how you can just kind of raise them and just see, because you want them to look really nice and the same. Okay, let's turn, make another loop. Same size as this one. Yep. Here we go. Pretty little gather. See how I'm fluffing as I go. And I'm making sure I'm getting all that value. See, because I did that gather, look how that just wants to just stand up. It's going to give me so much volume on my loop. Same size, sure is. Okie doke. Gather, gather. Pull our tail down. I'm just putting 2 loops of this color at this point. Okay. See how pretty that looks? Because I've gathered it. There's no pleats. I didn't pleat anything up in there. Everything, all my ribbon is gathered. And I think you can see what a difference that's going to make for you. And the fact that this is now like I'm putting my belt on. See how I'm pushing down, and this is like I'm putting my belt on, and I'm going to cross this. So it's going to really hold it, and it's going to hold it in place, and nothing is going to slip whenever you're trying to take this off. Nothing is going to slip on you at all. Everything is going to stay right in place, right where you want it. Okay, our last ribbon, and y'all, this ribbon is just to die for. Look at this ribbon. Y'all, well, this is one of the ribbons that I saw. I was shopping on Wreath of Joy's website, and I saw this ribbon, and I said, well, I have to buy the ribbon and then find out what, I'll decide later what, I'm going to have to make something just so I can use the ribbon. That's just how beautiful I think this ribbon is. And so I am going to put 5 loops. I'm going to use this 5 times because I really want to show this ribbon off. It is, I don't know what's my favorite ribbon. I have 3 favorite ribbons in this little bow. The bunnies, the paisleys, and this one. And I just think they're just to die for. I'm just going to make them just one little tad shorter than the loop underneath. There's my pinch and twist. Making sure. You're going to have to play with this one just a little bit more because it has the poofy edge to it. Everything about it is just fabulous, but I'm going to have to play with it just a tad more because it has this big edge to it. Okay? But look how beautiful that is. Look how beautiful it just stands up. It's just fabulous. So there's my gather and turn. Here we go. It's going to go out to about right there. I'm working it as I go. That's going to come up here. Look at this, just how beautiful this is going to be. Okay? See this? All right. Let's make this go over in this direction. I want that loop there. Out to there. There's my gather. My little gather. Okay. Like that. And now I'm going to purposefully, on purpose, make this loop just a little smaller because it's going to be in the center and I want it to be I want it to be smaller. So here we go. I'm just going to pull this in because I want a smaller center loop. Okay. And then here's my tail. Y'all, it does not matter. Doesn't matter at all that both of the tails are coming off of this side. That's not going to make any difference. You're going to see once I open it, it's not going to make any difference at all which side that comes off on. And you see how I'm just tying this off, pushing that down really tight and just tying this off. Okay? Now you're going to see whenever we lift this off, you're going to see that this is just going to sit up right into the center, and that's going to be my little center loop. Let's cut this. Okay, this is going to give me a lot of nice, pretty tails. Okay, before I take this off, well, I guess it doesn't matter. I'm going to use this. I just want to let you know, okay, I used this 26 gauge wire. I'm going to put a much heavier wire. This is a very thin wire. This was just to hold everything in place. What I'm going to do, once I lift this off, I'm going to immediately put this wire around it. And this is going to be my finished wire, okay? And it's just a much heavier wire. It's white, it's going to die right into it. Of course, you won't see it at all. Another thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to kind of control my tails because I know that I am going to roll these all up. So before I take it off, I try to do as much work to my bow as I can before I take it off. It's just easier to control. It's a lot of ribbon here, lots of tails. And so I'm going to roll them up a bit. Okay, and of course we're going to fluff it so much more whenever we add it to the rabbit. When we put it on our little guy. If any of y'all watch me, y'all know I just foo-foo and foo-foo. This is what I call foo-fooing, okay? I'm foo-fooing. Okay, so, and I know already I'm gonna have to cut that one just a little shorter. I can tell kind of how it's fallen within my loops. Okay, so there we go. Now, I am ready for lift off. And here we go. Let's see. Let me tie this down just a little bit more. I didn't cross that quite good enough. Okay, let's cross it this way. Cross it good. And then come around. That's what I did. I went the wrong direction. Okay, I untied it. Okay, I'm gonna go around one more time, just so that holds really good. I don't want anything to move on me. And there we are, lift off. And you can just pick up your entire bow, okay? And everything is totally held together. See there? It's all held together if you put your wire on first. This piece of wire, I'm going to tie around to the back. Let's see. Let's go down our side. Let's find the side of our bow. It's going to the back with our other piece of wire. This is our heavier piece of wire that is going to hold, that's now going to really hold our bow together. Our first piece of wire was just to keep anything from moving. And let's turn it over. And I am going to wrap them both at the same time. Okay, you want to tighten them up. You want to tighten up all you can. Tight, tight, tight. Okay, and around you go. Around you go. At this point, because I know how I want to attach this to my bunny, I want to be able to go around both of those, both of the top and the bottom of my bunny. And this is just from experience. I know that it's just, and I'm going to go ahead and add this wire now. I'm going to come under these loops. See how I'm coming under the loops? Under my first set of loops, I'm coming under all of them. Let's get these. Okay, and I'm going to pull tight. I'm going to pull tight. I'm just tying this around. Okay. This is one set of wire that's going to go around one part of the two pieces of my bunny of the body, and now I'm going to put the second piece of wire coming all of this, and this is the wire that I'm going to use to attach the bunny, the bow to the bunny. Okay, and you see, all I did was come under this bottom row of loops. See where I'm pulling it out here? I'm going to tighten this up. And like I said, y'all, this is from experience. I've made this bunny over and over and over, and I feel like I can position my bow better with this second set of wire. And this is how I'm going to position. This is the wire I'm going to use to position and attach my bow to my bunny. And then this, all I have to do, this is our first sets of wire. And the only thing I'm going to do with this is just curl this up. Curl this up. That's all I'm going to do with it. And I'm just going to just sit it right here in the back of the bow. That's all that's needed. And now you can see how neat this is. This is what I'm going to wrap around. I'm gonna use this wire to wrap around both sets of my rings, and that's how I'm gonna attach the bow to my bunny. Okay, so here we go. We've mashed it up just a bit, putting it on its head, And here we go. Once we set our center loop in place, you won't be able to see any of the wires that we used at all. And once you see the final picture, you're going to see how all of this is just big and fluffy and just big and beautiful on our bunny rabbit. Okay? And here's the tails. Like I said, once it gets put on the bunny, you're going to see how all these tails look just hanging down, big and beautiful. I like all these tails on the bunny to kind of fill up that bottom circle. Okay, that's if you're wondering why I put such a big bow, is because I like to just fill that circle up. So there's our big beautiful bow. Here's the paisley that you can see. Look, our little bunny face. Here's another little bunny face. Here's all our little Easter eggs. And here is the beautiful paisleys. And you'll see once we get it on the bunny how you'll be able to see all of this ribbon. But there we are, y'all. That's it. That is how I made the bow. You can see how incredibly easy and simple this is. I sure hope you've enjoyed this. I would suggest that you tie your ribbon off as you go. I think it gives you much more volume, and I think you'll enjoy it. And cut that ribbon and make your figures show where you want them to. And that's it. Look, our little bunny faces. So cute. And that's what I'll leave you with. Bye for now. I hope you've enjoyed this.